I plan.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So my name is MJ Larrabee. I'm Connie's daughter. Thank you for taking a moment to come here and listen to me talk about type 1 diabetes. So type 1 diabetes is also referred to as juvenile diabetes. And
Wait, I haven't. Oh, I did start. I'm sorry. Keep going.
I'll talk about why it's called juvenile diabetes in just a moment. So first we should talk about the difference between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Diabetes is related to insulin in the body. Type 1 diabetes refers to the body's attacking the cells that produce insulin, while type 2 diabetes is just a resistance to insulin. So the reason why it's called juvenile diabetes, it's actually unknown what causes it, but it's environmentally factored. So between that and genes, not only that, it's always usually diagnosed with kids under the age of 8 or 19, and so that's why it's referred to as juvenile diabetes. So I actually have a little diagram here. So this is kind of where we're looking at with children with diabetes. There are about roughly 9 billion children in the world. 125,000 of those children have been diagnosed with diabetes. And in the next year, I think 13,000 children will be diagnosed with diabetes, and that's not to include the 1.8% that it will increase annually. And also, this is a little bit of a diagram, just kind of showing the difference between type 1 and type 2. You can see the insulin and the difference, how it reacts differently in the body between those two. So we should also talk about some of the symptoms with type 1 diabetes. It's really important to be knowledgeable about these symptoms because they can actually be very minute, and they can be referred to, or they can be interpreted as something as flu-like symptoms or cold-related symptoms. Some of those symptoms include vomiting, confusion, but the main ones are extreme dehydration and excessive urination. Some of the treatment options that you can have for type 1 diabetes is a pump. And the pump is actually really cool. It's the most popular option for insulin and between type 1 diabetes patients. Another option you can do is an insulin spray, which is fairly new. I actually know a few people that use it. It's really cool. Another option is an injection port. It's a little bit less invasive, and it's a weekly thing, or I'm actually not positive how often you have to use the port, but it's better than using just like syringe and needles. It's really important to choose these types of, or choose the correct type of treatment plan, because a lot of kids are very new to this kind of thing, obviously. They don't really know how to handle it, so choosing the correct treatment option is essential to ensuring their long-term success with the disease. One of the major complications with type 1 diabetes is renal failure, and it's actually the reason why I decided to talk about type 1 diabetes. Renal failure, obviously referred to as kidney failure, is very serious, and it results in dialysis, and it's one of the major complications you can have when you have type 1 diabetes. And the reason why I decided to talk about it is my dad actually has renal failure and has been struggling with type 1 diabetes since he was 16 years old. So he was diagnosed when he was 16 years old. He actually has talked to me about the day that he remembers that he decided he needed to get tested. So he was actually skiing in Park City, Utah, and normally what he would do is he would have a big water bottle, and he would use that or drink it throughout the day, just one about. So one day he was going up this slope and he filled up his water bottle. He finished that water bottle by the top of the slope, and then he urinated several times, went off the trail and urinated several times as he was going down the slope, and he did that throughout the day. So that excessive thirst and excessive urination was a sign that he needed to get tested. I also asked my dad what are some of the joys that he found when he was diagnosed with diabetes and his journey with it, and he said the reason why he actually is thankful for it is he was able to help others learn about it and help other kids learn about how to treat it and how to come to terms with it and to ensure that their lifestyle is a good one. He's been able to pay it forward and do good for the community, and that's why he's actually thankful for it. So thank you so much for listening to my little speech for a moment, and I appreciate it. Thanks for coming. It's okay, it's great.